Why? Why is the question, yeah? Why are old people, senior citizens mostly, are so concerned with the news? What is the correlation with getting old and being obsessed with what's happening around the world and watching the news? And there is got to be some kind of process in our brain when after a certain age, like when you hit, for example, 60, some switch goes off or on, and you remind yourself, man, I have to watch the news. I got to know what's going on in the world. I have to watch the local news. I have to watch the international news. I have to know the criminal situation around me for sure. And if there is some financial news also, like Bloomberg, but that's a reality. I remember my father, somewhere when he hit the 60, and I was like, I was 20 back then. I'm a late child. I'm a late child, so uh, I remember him watching 9 o'clock news in the morning. There was no back then. There was no non-stop news like CNN, BBC, or in Georgian language, for example, or something. We had like segments broadcasting news at 9 a.m., at 12, at 3, at 6 p.m., at 9 p.m., and at 12 at night. So he would watch every news, every 3 hours. There was no time for the breaking news in 3 hours. They were rerunning the same news. But he would watch it and I wouldn't say he enjoyed it. Not like he was all excited about it, but anyway, he was there. He was in front of the screen watching it. I guess it was like a anticipation of some breaking news and not missing the breaking news. God forbid he would have missed something. And it was a torture for me, for sure. Plus, the TV was always on a high volume. Like he wanted all neighbors to listen to the news, and the other neighbors were listening to the same news. So it was all around. You couldn't hide. It was like a stereo coming from every side, bombarding our brains. There must be a voice that after 60 tells you that your life is over now. I mean, your enjoyment is over. No more cinema, no more movies, no more films, no more sports, no more music. Now you have to watch news. You gotta know what's going on. You gotta see local news, and then you gotta see international. What's happening in Singapore? What's happening in Canada? You have to know it. And there he was in his armchair with his cigarettes, beer, remote control, all set up and ready to watch the main news. It was 9 p.m. news. It called Corriere, Rustavi Ori. That was the broadcasting company, the major broadcasting company. Everybody was watching it. Even I was watching the 9 p.m. news. You had to be there. You had to be there. It was like a show. It was not just news. It was show, man. And there he was, like smoking, chain smoking while being nervous, I guess. Didn't give a flying damn about secondhand smoking around him. Now just having fun, enjoying his news, like getting pleasure sincerely. And for me, it was a torture. I had nowhere to go in those days. Neither do I have it now. But at this age, I have no urge to go. I mean, the urge went down. But in those days, I had like my blood was pumping, but the situation was around not so much. Uh, the field was like heavy field around. So, and you might have felt it from the news also. So the heaviness, the dark situation, the criminal uh, incidents going on, shootings, and he would watch it like 6 times per day, the same story, the same awful story. For example, they would rerun it. Somebody killed his family members and then end up in suicide. And this would be like at 9 a.m. when you get up. The first that you get, the portion of news, boom, in your face. Then at 12, at 3, at 6, at 9 p.m., and at 12 a.m. before you go to bed. Packed and hoping for the better news next day at 9 a.m. because you're missing something when you're sleeping. You have to watch it with your morning coffee. He didn't like papers much. He was not like a guy who would go out in the morning and buy a paper. Why would you buy a paper when you had news in your home for free 6 times a day? They got to be some kind of processes in our brain. Something is going on as we're getting older. As much we are drawn to the news, we must know. And man, come on, guys. You didn't care about what was happening when you were young and full of your potential. At least when you had like a chance to influence something. Now, what is the reason? Why? Why are you torturing yourself, man? Why are you torturing around those your grandchildren? Like my mom, uh, every evening she would give me a brief overlook of the news, what happened, without this dosage. And she says, you have to know. You have to know. You don't watch news, so you have to know what's going on at least. It's like spoon feeding, Every mother stays a mother till the end, yeah. Like a spoon feeding me with food, for food, spoon feeding me with news and so on. So now I'm looking at myself at this age of 44 years young as I am, yeah, and bit by bit getting into the late autumn of my life, basically. Get like, if you get my point. Mm. So I'm scared. I'm scared of myself that I'm gonna end up the same way. What am I, exception or what? I'm gonna end up by the screen of of the news portion, and nothing you can do. When that voice tells you it's over, bro, now it's a news time for you for the rest of your life. Nothing you can do. You obey. You obey the voices in your head. It's a law. You got to obey the voice in your head. So the silver lining is that I'm not going to be aware of it. That's the best part of it. At least I'm not going to I'm not going to suffer watching the news. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it, but I hope I'm not going to suffer.